I want to talk about a topic that's not really discussed too much, and that's racism within education, meaning within the school system, the place that a lot of people send their kids every day, put their trust. That these educators will educate their kids properly, not pass judgment, not show discrimination. And a lot of people, they go over the fact that we have a lot of racism right within the school system. You got kids every day, go to school, and a lot of them don't even know that they're being assaulted or racism is being portrayed upon them. Maybe because of their age, or maybe because of lack of common sense, or because their parents didn't teach their kids what to look out for, what to listen for, how to sit back and observe and watch how people talk to other people and how people treat you. And every week we hear about some kid getting fucked in the ass, or molested, and I don't mean to say it like that, but it is what it is. And most of this is done by white women, if you guys haven't noticed. But I can remember several incidents when I was in school, from elementary all the way up to high school, even in college. But I can remember having racist teachers, and I was one of those kids that I like to sit in the back of the class. I like to observe. I didn't like a lot of people behind me and shit, just for whatever reason. I like to observe. I like to look, watch people's mannerism, watch how people speak to each other. I just was one of those kids that sat back and watched things, and then, analyze it. But, I can remember I had a third grade teacher. She was, I don't know, she was white and Samoan or something. I know she was from Hawaii. But she wasn't all the way white, but she might have been mixed with it. And, even at that young of an age, I would go to class and everything, and, I would sit back. How kids come to the classroom, start talking, the teacher tell them to be quiet. Or, if you continue to talk, teachers will do that bullshit method where they write your name on the board, which really doesn't do anything. But, I guess that's something that teachers are taught in college. But, I would sit back, and kids would get in trouble in the classroom and everything. But I would notice that when black kids would do certain things, there was a certain type of punishment. I would see Asian kids or Hispanic kids or white kids do certain things, talk out, misbehave in the classroom, and it would be cut it out, or you get 5 minutes taken away from your recess. But I noticed when the black kids would do things, it was go stand outside, for 45, 50 minutes. Go to the principal's office, write me 200 standards, that type of shit. And I sat back. At first, I didn't realize it. Then I sat back. I said, you know what? I think I was the first kid to bring, in third grade, I was the first kid to bring this to all the black kids, attention. And, I told him, I said, watch how our teacher, I'm not going to put her name out there, but I said, watch how our teacher treats the black kids when they misbehave in the class, and then watch how she treats other ethnicities. And, people start sitting back, watching certain things. And I remember at recess, people like, yeah, man, you right, man. She treated me this way. This kid did the same thing I did and didn't get the same punishment. And I said, I told you, because I was one of those kids that would sit back. I had a lot of common sense. I was very intelligent for my age. And my family taught me to watch certain things, listen for certain things. But even at that young of an age, I experienced racism and saw how favoritism and discrimination can go on right there in the classroom. And then I get all the way up to high school, and this is not necessarily a racist act, although it shows you where a lot of our teachers' mindsets at, especially those who are white. I had a Spanish teacher, white lady, excuse me, white lady, she stayed in, I believe at the time she stayed in Long Beach. Now, you guys that are not familiar with LA, I know you guys hear Snoop Dogg talk about East Side Long Beach and all that shit, but Long Beach is not, all of Long Beach is not quote unquote the hood or the slums. You have the east side of Long Beach. You have an area of Long Beach called Bixby Knolls, which is considered part of the west side, which is, you know, a middle class, wealthier part of Long Beach. Then you have the north side, which is mixed. You got some parts over there that are kind of, you know, rough, and then you have the middle class area. But at the time, this teacher stayed in the west side, which is, you know, more or less, you know, middle class. You know, there's even some parts on the east side that's considered middle class. But I remember we were having a conversation, and she mentioned that she stayed on that side, and one of the kids in the class was like, well, why do you come all the way to this city to work when you can, you know, work somewhere close like Compton? Because Compton and Long Beach are right next door to each other. Now, the kid shouldn't have asked that question. You know, it really was none of their damn business. But you know how kids are. You know, a lot of times, a lot of them not taught proper etiquette or, you know, what to ask and what not to ask. But, you know, the teacher hauled off and said, well, I don't want to get shot. I don't want to go work in Compton and have to fear for my life. And this is her mindset, because her mindset was like, Compton is predominantly black, you know, and Hispanic. And the city that I went to high school in for a small part of time was, you know, it's fairly mixed. You had whites, Asians, Hispanics, but it was a mixed area. But her mindset was, if she goes into a community to educate kids that are neither black or Hispanic, her life is going to be in danger. You know, and this is the mindset, you know, of a lot of people who are educating our children. And this is why I say, you know, go to your parent conferences, go to open house, go to back to school night, talk to these teachers, get an understanding and concern of who is educating your children, because you have to remember that your child is going to class every day, you know, even all the way up to high school. And these teachers have an influence on your children. You know, whether you like it or not, whether they like that teacher or not, they have an influence. They have a certain type of power and discretion over your children. So it's important to know who is educating your children. You know, ask questions. If you feel like something is out of place, you know, or the teacher has certain alternative motives, or they're not properly educating your child right, because like I say, you know, we don't learn about the things that I feel like black people need to learn in school. You know, they always want to force Christopher Columbus down our throat, which that guy is nothing but a criminal. You know, they want to force him, or they want to talk about Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks, the same people that we've been, and no disrespect to them, but the same people that we've been hearing for our whole life. They don't want to talk about the actual culture where we come from, and those who don't get a lot of, you know, publicity or don't get talked about. They don't want to talk about Malcolm X or the Black Panther Party or Bunchy Carter. You know, they don't want to talk about these type of things, because that will wake a lot of our people up. That scares them. And that also goes back to why I say we need to educate our own children. Don't think because you send your children to school every day, they're going to learn everything in the classroom. You know, there's a certain guideline that is supposed to be taught to your children. It's not necessarily things that our children, meaning black children, need to learn about our culture and about ourselves. And this is why we have a generation coming up, you know, full of self-hatred and, you know, idolizing white people and want to take on white characteristics, because a lot of us, you know, feel ashamed of who we are, and we don't understand where we come from. And there's certain tactics that are put into place to make us think the way we think and make us react to certain things. You know, and you know, going back to my third grade teacher, I don't mean to, you know, shift all the way back, but you know, I told my parents about it. You know, I was like, you know, hey, I think my third grade teacher is racist. You know, I see a lot of favoritism. You know, certain comments she made, and you know how parents are. There, my parents didn't, you know, ignore it, but at the same time, it might be okay. Well, maybe, you know, he just was talking out or something like that. Or he don't like the teacher, and he's just saying that. But when they came to back to school night, you know, I told him, I said, watch this woman character. So, you know, my parents got off from work and everything. You know, they were running a little late. teacher stayed at her door open, but she was getting ready to step out. She was getting ready to shut everything down. Now, any teacher with common courtesy or concern for their student, it doesn't matter whether you walking right out the door. If a parent comes up doing parent conference or back to school night, you're gonna talk to them. You're gonna say, "Hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're teaching this semester or this year," or so on and so on. My parents walk in. She said, "Oh, I'm shutting down. I'm sorry, you guys are too late. I can't talk to anybody right now." But it was a whole different ball game when another couple came up with their child, and they were another ethnicity. She was just as nice as she wanted to be, showing every goddamn tooth in her mouth. And at that moment, that's when my parents said, "Okay, we believe you now. We see what's going on. We see that this is an issue." But I just wanted to do this video, man, because this is something that's looked over. And a lot of times, us as black people, we forget about the school system and the discrimination, the racism that goes on right within that facility and within that genre of education. And it's important that we watch what's going on in our children's classroom, because these are the people that you're teaching your child too. You're responsible for your child, but these are the people who are responsible for educating your child. But that's my video. You guys can give me your feedback if you want. I'm out.